Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. I'm your host, Janet Hickox, and sitting with me this morning is Amy Colvin from Compassionate Meditation and Qigong. And today she is going to be sharing information with us about taking meditation trips to beautiful places, sacred sites around the world. Good morning, Amy, and welcome.
Good morning. It's great to be with you today, Janet. I'm so glad to be on your show this morning.
I'm so glad to have you here. And I'm laughing because like seconds to go, we have 5, 4, 3. I somehow ended up losing the video feed that I had put up here for us. So I'm going to give you some time here to introduce yourself. Tell us about you. And I'm not going to disappear. I'll still be sitting here, but I'll look like I'm not paying attention because I need to get your videos up here. Okay.
That sounds great.
Here's Amy in her own words, everybody.
Hey, everybody. I have to say it was pretty funny because right before Janet and I came on, there was this pause and then an oh dear. And I'm like, but you know, one of the things I love is what a great teachable moment, because the fact of the matter is we are all humans, and the best, and as humans, we always make mistakes. So the best thing that we can do is just be with ourselves and go, oh, yeah, I made a mistake, and not beat ourselves over it, and then just go fix it. You know, sometimes there's stuff in life that we can't fix, but sometimes we can. And there's, you know, if we can do that with kindness and compassion, we're a step ahead of the game.
Isn't that amazing? Compassion or humor, right? Humor in this case. I mean, like, oh yeah, really? You just closed the window that you need for this morning. Oh, so Amy, you and I go back quite a ways. I mean, I've known you, I was thinking about this the other day, since about 2008. That's when I actually moved to the island. So now we're working on 11 years. And through that, I've seen you change and grow and doing different things. Obviously, you know, I've been through the same process. And this idea of doing meditation retreats is fairly new, right? This came up maybe, I don't know, a year ago, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a year or two ago. What I think is really interesting, though, is for those of you that are of our generation, there was a book once upon a time called What Color is Your Parachute? And it was sort of a try to figure out what you want to do with your life when you grow up book. And I remember going through that book, and the things that I wanted to do more than anything was make a living as a public speaker or make a living as a tour guide. And then, you know, 30 years pass. And the next thing you know, I'm now building a business where I get to be a public speaker and I get to go travel and lead people to amazing destinations. So
you're living your dream.
I am. And I feel really fortunate about that. And it's more than just what I love about the way I've put these meditation and Qigong retreats together is that it's more than just going to these really beautiful landscapes and exploring really cool cultures. It's also an opportunity to really take a deeper dive into what's going on with your interior landscape. So, and the other thing is often when people think about meditation retreats, they think about being in one spot and holding still. In fact, I was working with a woman who wanted to be a retreat planner. And when I told her what I did, she's like, I've never heard of anybody doing that. Because if we're going to go to a beautiful destination, I do want to explore it. I do want to go from place to place and see all that country has to offer. So I don't want to just go to a retreat center and sit there for 10 days. I want to go out and explore the world. And that's what we do. We have a local guide who's fantastic. Every day we're seeing really beautiful things, but also every day we're doing some meditation, whether it be in silence, whether it's guided. We do Qigong, and I'll explain in a little bit what that is for those of you who don't know. But being able to connect with the energy of these sacred sites and in these beautiful landscapes while we're doing Qigong is really, really magical. And then on top of that, the whole story arc for the retreat is all about building acceptance and compassion for self and for others.
I love it. In fact, we have a couple of videos that we are going to share with people this morning. In fact, you know, now that I think about it, Amy, maybe I should share the other video first rather than what people are saying, because doesn't the other one show more of the activities and things that you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me switch that over. In the meantime, tell us about this next trip. You can give us sort of the details of when and while I'm pulling this other one up.
Sure. Yeah. So the timing of this interview is absolutely just perfect because I am leading a trip to Peru in April 20th to 30th, and there's still a few spots left. If you are traveling as an individual, it's $31.95 for shared occupancy, and with that, that includes internal airfare, internal train transportation, access to all the sites that we'll be visiting, a local guide, all of our meals. So it's a really well put together trip where you just show up and be present with yourself and enjoy the beautiful landscapes.
Here we go. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to hide us for a minute here. So just a moment. I'm going to make this solo. I'm going to make the sound work. And hold on while I make it start. Wow. Oh.
No, that's okay.
There's still more.
It was just, the rest of it is just a bunch of raves. So.
I know, but that's the best part, seeing the local people. Now, this was some kind of parade, or?
Yeah, we happened to be there just on the day that they were having a big old parade in the local family experience. And of course, Manuel knows everyone. And so, you know, as we were talking outside, we could ask them and that's how we were able to take that initiative with these people with really awesome outfits. But and it what an unexpected event, and that's one of the great things about these retreats is that there are unexpected surprises that come up.
Yeah, that's great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this right now.
Thank you for tuning in this evening. So I'm just going to...
Sorry.
That's all right. So one of the things that I think is really cool about, you know, the snippets that are in that video is it looks like it's a really physically rigorous trip, and it is. I mean, I won't deny that. So you need to be able to be mobile. But what I loved is in that one of the women in the group was a little bit hesitant about walking up all those stairs, but she was game. She wanted to be part of it. She wanted to push her boundaries. She wanted to try new things. And because we were all studying and focusing on compassion for self and for others, the level of support that this woman received was amazing. We got up to the top, we gave her a huge hug in the middle of a group, and it was just wonderful. We went up and over down into this amazing cave that it holds what they call the ancient temple of the moon. So there's a temple that's built inside the cave, And at the end of the day, one of the things that we talked about, or one of the things one of the other participants said to her was, "You are so much stronger than you know you are." And
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, and then a few days later, when we were doing that Huchi Cusco hike, we hike up into this beautiful Andean valley, and there's no one there. We get to the top of this pass, and I remember she just threw her fist in the air and said, "I am stronger than I knew I was." And
That's
it's
so
just,
cool.
yeah. So it's an opportunity to really dive in there and learn about yourself while having fun, while being supported by other people.
Yeah. Because that was one of the things I thought about as I was watching, women going up these stairs. I'm thinking to myself, I don't have problem going up, but coming back down, I would have a freak out. So was there another way down, or did you guys go back down the same way you went up?
We actually went down a different way. So we went
Oh,
up. So for those of you who are familiar with pictures of Machu Picchu, what we climbed was that cute little peak in the back. So we went up the top, and that's where the stairs come up. And then we went off the back side, and the stairs weren't so much like that coming off the back side. Now, as you saw, there were ladders. But the
yeah.
ladders were also really well anchored. It was really well supportive. Manuel, our guide, was just wonderful about making sure that everybody was safe. So then a lot of it was just more gentle down the backside, and then we, hiked up just a more gentle trail back up. So yeah, we didn't have to go down those stairs.
Thank God. Thank God. Down is always harder for me. Up is never that hard. Down, terrifying. So now I want to just say good morning to everybody who's joining us. I see Vanita, good morning, and Kristen, good morning. Debbie Tibbetts, Tumiel, good morning. She says, going anywhere in the fall?
Oh,
I know you have other trips.
I'm going to Ireland in the fall.
That's one I want to go on. I want to go to Peru too. I just can't do that. That's too soon, but certainly Ireland is far enough into the future that I could plan. Let's see. Good morning, Colleen. Good morning, Vicki. Good morning, Michelle and Mimi and Lynn. It's nice to see you. And Debbie Hedden. Good morning, everybody. So I hope everybody was able to see that video and hear the sights and the sounds of Machu Picchu or of Peru, etc. Amy, you were going to tell us what Qigong is, because I know maybe some people hadn't heard that term before or aren't familiar with it. So can you explain that to us a little bit?
Sure. So Qigong is a compilation of two words, Qi, which means that energy within us. So it's a Taoist concept, and the Taoists believe that we're all energetic beings, both human beings and everything out there in the world. So we're all made of energy, we're all harmonizing together. So Qi is that energy, and Gong is skillfully working with that energy. And there's a lot of for me, one of the most valuable and yet simple Qigong exercises is just simply taking nice, deep abdominal breaths. You are working with intention. Let me put it that way too. So if you intentionally bring your breath into your belly and you breathe slowly and gently, poof, you're doing Qigong. So I love it. Janet is doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now because I'm somehow lagging in the video. And so I took myself out of the video hoping that maybe I would catch up. So, and I know I've seen you, I've actually participated in your meditation retreats before, or, here on the island. And there were other things, mudras and hand movements, exercises that we actually went through, and all designed to be a centering or a focusing kind of exercise.
Yes. So the breathing into the belly is the most basic way, but then for me, the key component is intention. So you are intentionally connecting with your energy. You're intentionally connecting with your higher self, the divine within, the spark that makes you unique, whatever way you want to put it. And then you begin to work with that. So the exercises that Janet has experienced have been, some of it are moving exercises like bringing your arms up, inhaling, imagining that you're gathering the energy of the earth, and exhaling back down and coming up with your palms up, gathering the energy of the sky above, bringing it back down to the body. Really simple flowing movements like that.
Yeah.
Connect us with our own energy, connect us with the energy outside of us. And then, of course, mudras are another way of aligning energy in the body as well. So the workshops that Janet's talking about, I lead weekend workshops here in my home in this studio on Samish Island. And they go through that story arc of different components of self-acceptance, self-appreciation, self-compassion, compassion for loved ones and for people we find to be difficult. So it's that, and it's doing some Qigong, connecting with breath. And what I love about Qigong is that it really helps us move energy. So if you're feeling emotionally stuck, whether you're angry or afraid or in grief, doing some simple Qigong exercises is a really fantastic way to help move that energy so it's not just pooling where you are.
That's fascinating. You know, we, you might want to explain, most people may know what mudras are, because I found the mudras probably more fascinating than anything. The hand, I remember we did something like it was based, you know, down here, and we were putting our hands, like nesting them into one another. So talk a little bit about what those are and how they benefit us.
Sure. So a mudra is a Sanskrit word for hand posture. So based on what you can see on my screen here, I'll do a real simple one. This one, where you have your thumb tips connected and your pinky.
Hold on, let me hide all of the writing. There we go, so people can see that.
Okay. So the thumb tips are together, the pinky tips are together, the base of the palms are together. Yep, you got it. All the fingers are extended outward. What does that look like to you?
A flower.
Yes, it's a representation of a lotus flower. And then the lotus flower represents compassion. So if we bring that mudra and we bring it as close to our heart as we can, then we are connecting with the energies of compassion. And the cool thing about this mudra is you can either use the flower as a vessel to receive compassion from all beings in the world around you, because at any given time, there are thousands of beings extending well wishes to you, whether you know them or not, just as there are times when you might extend well wishes out to people in the world. So you can receive that, or you can use your own sense of compassion and have it bubble up out of the flower, up and around the world outside of you. So that's just a really simple example of one. Another one that I like quite a lot, you bring your right hand up, palm out like this. It's hard to see in the screen I have here. The other hand is on the lap, palm up. And this mudra, you've got it by the shoulder. I'm just a little close to my face because I know that. But this one represents.
You're solo, then people can see the whole of you.
See the whole of me. But this represents fearlessness. And what I love is that, again, this can be you can use that energy of the fearlessness and courageousness for yourself if you're working with a problem for yourself, or you can extend that out. So if you see something going on in the world that you find disconcerting, you can just have your hand up for a moment. Again, the other hand is palm up, but down by your knee. And just drop your gaze, close your eyes, and for just a moment, extend well wishes to people known and unknown. And you're extending that courageousness and fearlessness to them simply by holding this mudra.
Awesome. Thank you. I remember, just maybe because I'm a Gemini. Gemini rules the hands. So using my hands for things just feels good. It's a connection I make. So I like that idea of mudras. Now, we kind of got off topic a bit, but I think it was important to explain what Qigong is, just because I'm fascinated by that as well. So why don't you take us through, you know, what are some of the things that people do, or that you did while you were in Peru? Like maybe a typical day, what would it consist of?
Sure. So a typical day, We'll pick the day that we first went into the park of Machu Picchu. So that day, well, actually, we'll do a 2-day thing. So okay. The day we went into Machu Picchu, we got up early. We queued up for the bus because from the little town of Aguas Calientes that is reachable only by train, and you saw examples of the train trip, super fun trip.
Yeah.
We, from that town of Aguas Calientes, you have to be in a bus for about 25 minutes. It drives you up to the gates of the park itself. And so, you know, because we're up early, we're not necessarily meditating that morning, but as we enter into the park, and walk to the far end where we start hiking up White Picchu, one of the things I invited the participants of this retreat to do was to, for the first few minutes, just simply be with themselves and feel the energy of the place. So rather than just having idle chatter, which it can be really fun, but I wanted for a little while for us to really be present, be still with ourselves, be still in that beautiful place, recognize that thousands of years ago, people put effort into making these amazing temples, into making this amazing community. So then we carried on and we hiked, and every single day we do some sort of physical activity. Not all of them are as rigorous as that. Went up to the top, had this beautiful view out over the valley, out over the whole complex of Machu Picchu itself, hiked down the backside, came up. And then that afternoon, we came back down into Aguas Calientes. And then the other component that happens every day is we had some class time. So we had a couple of hours where we sat and we chatted with each other and had conversations around self-acceptance, self-compassion, compassion for loved ones, depending on the day, depending on the theme of the day. We did some guided meditation. We had some really fun experiential exercises. We had a little bit of time to decompress. Then we went off to dinner, had a beautiful dinner, came back, had some time after dinner to relax and catch up on your journal or just spend time with yourself or chatting with your roommate. Went to bed, got up in the morning, and then the next day, because we went into the park a little bit later, we had time that morning for class time. So we started out our day with meditation, we started out our day with conversation, and then we queued for the bus, went up into the park, and explored the complex in general, and then had some time just sitting in the park, doing some Qigong in the park as the sun was setting. Absolutely miraculous.
Wow. So you're blending both, the excitement of the trail and the trip and sightseeing along with the meditation and classes and so forth. So to me, that's like the best of both worlds, right? The adventure and then the teaching.
Absolutely. And that is true for every single day. So every day that it was possible, we would meet before breakfast to do some meditation, have breakfast, go off and do something fun for the day and have class time. And sometimes the order of that was reversed. But yes, that's exactly it. Every day there was guided meditation, mudra meditation, Qigong, conversation, and exploration of the environment in which we're spending time.
Wow. Nice stuff. So I want to show a real quick video clip here of what people's impressions were of the trip. So hold on here. Let me get that full screen and playing.
What made this trip so special is it really was a retreat, physical and mental retreat. And it was the first time I've ever gone on an organized trip. And what it did is it really freed me to concentrate on the self-compassion and to immerse myself in the culture and to be with this incredibly supportive group of women who were strangers at the beginning, and now we've gone on this incredible adventure together. And Amy was a fantastic facilitator, did an incredible job, not only in what we did, but in the sequence of the things that we did. And it all just struck me as really one of the most powerful experiences I've had because I had the opportunity to tap into emotions and my physical abilities, and I'm leaving feeling so strong and empowered and definitely more full of self-compassion. And I say that I've had more tears in this week than I've ever had on any other trip. And it's because there was this safe space to really tap into deep emotions of gratitude and love and joy and hard places too. And what I take from this trip is that many of the things that I did, I feel that I can now incorporate into a practice in my life. So it's not a one-off experience, but really something that is life-changing.
For me, the highlight was reaching the top of Hayana Picchu, and everybody contributed and was so kind and compassionate and patient and encouraging, and it really just touched my heart and gave me the strength and the courage to complete that very challenging hike.
You know, just being in the culture and experiencing their culture and the people that live here was amazing. The cooking with Emma, and the chocolate making with Monica, the weaving day, you know, it's been amazing to be able to be in the culture instead of just looking at the tourist attractions. It's a wonderful experience because there is sightseeing, there is experience with the culture, there is the meditation. It's all of the things together that make it amazing. This trip has opened myself up to new ways of meditating, new ideas, new tools to put in my toolbox. There was something so special about the planning and the effort that Amy and Manuel put together. The flow of the trip with all of the sights that we saw, I thought was really well planned. From kind of like climbing a mountain, you know, there was a kind of a nice gentle start, but we really got into it. And then the last couple of days has just been a good wind down too.
Put your heart into your day and put your heart into yourself, and therefore it will go out to the world.
Nice. Let me move this out and bring us back. It doesn't want to go away. So, I mean, those are glowing words from women who were being tasked to get outside of their comfort zone in some cases and things like that. So, well done, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it was such a pleasure. And the intention wasn't necessarily to create a women's retreat, but that's the way it happened to turn out. And what I loved is that some of those women had never met me before, and how wonderful that they had that courage to dive into a 10-day retreat with a leader that they'd never met. I mean, everybody knew someone else within the group, but not all of them knew me. And I really like that. And in fact, for this upcoming retreat that I'm doing in April, there's a couple of people that don't know me and they don't know anybody else in the trip. And they just said, you know what? I think this seems like the right thing to do for me. And so I'm going to sign up, and it's going to be a fantastic trip.
That's so awesome. And you keep the group fairly small, right? You don't have like 30 people signing up to go. You keep it like, what, 10 people is it at that most?
Yeah, I think the maximum on these trips are like 12. It kind of depends. I think the maximum in Ireland is going to be 10 guests and myself. But yes, and that is one of the great things, is that by having a smaller group, there is that level of intimacy. Sometimes something that comes up with a small group is that if there's somebody who's really difficult to get along with, it makes it harder. But because we're all going for like-minded reasons, because we're all interested in growing, then in my experience, I've never had a group that's had an outlier that's difficult. And we've all found ways to harmonize with each other, even if our personalities aren't exactly the same.
Which is really nice. I mean, you almost are getting a chance to walk your talk when you're on a trip like this, because we all talk about how we can get along and so forth. But when you get in the midst of a trip like this, overseas or long distance, people tend to get irritable, and there's different foods and different atmosphere. The weather's different. And so sometimes the more difficult aspects of one's personality can show up. And, working through all that, to me, I think that would be pretty awesome to test yourself and move yourself through getting, past those things and being able to walk your talk. Now, I know that primarily today we wanted to talk about the trip that's coming up for Peru, but tell us a little bit about the one in Ireland, because maybe some people would be interested in doing that.
Sure. Yeah, the Ireland trip is, I can't remember the exact start date. It's late September, and I know that the end date is October 1st. And again, just as in Peru, I'm working with a local guide in Ireland, and we are going to be spending 5 nights just outside Killarney National Park in the southwest. But every day we're going to be exploring regions just like we do in Peru. And for me, one of the highlights is going to be a day where we get up in the morning, we go into the park, we take a boat for about an hour and a half, a small boat, and a guided tour across the lake into a small community that's accessible only by the boat. And then from there, we're going to do a 7-mile gentle hike up and over a pass that is just absolutely gorgeous. If you need to, you can hire a horse and carriage, but otherwise we'll be walking up and over that pass, popping out on the other side, have, a pint of something in celebration, and get picked up by our motor coach or by our travel van, taken back to the lodge. So that's one of the highlight days for me. There's another one where we're just going to spend a day driving and looking at all the beautiful landscapes along the rugged coastline. And then from there, we'll move halfway up the western coast of Ireland to another town. We'll go explore some more sacred sites, have another opportunity to walk into this absolutely gorgeous valley. When I first saw photos of it, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to go there. It's absolutely spectacular. And it's on a road where people, I envision that we can walk as long as we want to walk. And then if somebody's feeling like they can't really quite make it, then, our van can pick us up or pick that person up and carry them on. And then at the end of that walk, we're going to have a seaweed bath. So there's a place right on the coast that specializes in having seaweed baths, and we'll all have an opportunity to do that. And then after a couple of days at that area, we'll carry on and move a little bit more back into civilization, and we'll go to a place called Brunaboyne, which is one of the world's World Heritage cultural sites.
Yeah.
Spend a couple days there and then head home.
Wow, that sounds like fun too. Yeah, we should all just find the funds and the time to go on your sacred retreats with you. We could travel the world. I was telling people yesterday, you're one of the few people that I ever have known to have gone to Antarctica. I'm like, who knows people that go to Antarctica? Amy has been to Antarctica. Although I don't know, did you ever step foot on the continent, or were you just on the ship going through there?
Yep, we were on the ship the whole time. It was for the people who are watching, I was on a large ship. I was actually on a Princess cruise ship, and knowing that it was one of the last times that they were going to sail down there. And we didn't get a chance to set foot on land, but we did have 5 days of scenic cruising along the Antarctic coastline, which was pretty amazing.
The pictures are outstanding, and I don't know if you have those on public view or not, but I know you sent me a clip of, several scenes, and I was just amazed. So the chance to get to see the world, you're the girl. Amy's the girl.
I am the girl, and I'm starting to put together ideas for 2020. So if any of you would like to go on a retreat like this with me and have a place where you would really like to go, feel free to get a hold of me. I'm sure Janet's going to put contact information up. And I'm out there on Facebook. All you need to do is look at Amy, A-M-Y, Pattee, P-A-T-T-E-E, Colvin, C-O-L-V-I-N, and you'll find me on Facebook. But yeah, so if you've got ideas of where you want to go in 2020, I'm happy to
Stonehenge.
listen. Yep.
I'm sure there are other things to see. Angkor Wat. I would love to see that. I was just telling my husband yesterday, and I have no idea where this came from, but that I would like to make a trip at least once in my life to India.
That's interesting that you say that. I have a friend that's over in India right now, and I'm looking at the videos she's posting, and it's unlike anything that I thought it would be like. She's got these beautiful photos of rugged coastline. I'm like, where the heck are you? Because when I think of India, I don't think rugged, beautiful coastline.
No, I think dry, dusty, lots of people, hustle, bustle, and the Taj Mahal.
Right. So there's bits of everything everywhere. And Angkor Wat, that's definitely going to happen in 2020.
Awesome. Awesome. So now let's get out your contact information. So I've got your name on the screen so people can connect to you from Facebook by typing in your name. So Amy Patty Colvin, right? Patty, right? Now, what is your website the same?
Yes. It's very easy. Just put a www in front of those three names strung together, followed by a .com, and you'll get to my website.
There we go. I'm going to post it up there for people to see. So www.amypatteecolvin.com. And I'm saying that out loud for the benefit of the people that'll hear this on radio later on. So, Amy, is that the same website they would go to book the trip if they're interested in going to Peru with you?
Absolutely. So from that website, you'll see the retreats that I'm offering, and you'll also see the weekend courses. I also do one-on-one coaching, so you'll have access to all the different kinds of things that I do from that basic website.
Very nice. Very nice. So there's that. And then, you have other things that you're working on as well. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to share with people, a course or meditation class, your compassionate meditation work? What's coming next?
The most immediate next for anybody who happens to be in Washington and the Puget Sound area is that I'm doing a weekend workshop, just like the one Janet attended, here in this studio space on March 2nd and 3rd. So that's the next most current thing coming up. I also, a couple of years ago, put out a book called Cultivating Compassion, Simple Everyday Practices for Discovering Peace and Resilience. And that ended up being an Amazon bestseller. And I'm slowly working on getting together another book. And what I want this new book to be is a new translation of the Tao Te Ching. Again, if you're not familiar with it, the Tao Te Ching is sort of like the cornerstone of Taoist philosophy. And I want to create an interpretation of it that really points out how to use these sacred verses as a way to cultivate compassion, resilience, and vitality into your day-to-day life. So I've got that coming up. And then just for fun, right in this very moment, I am working on putting together a quiz on where you are on your journey of cultivating compassion and resilience. So keep an eye out for that. And you'll find that if you go to my website, and I might even have Janet post it for me down the road as well when that finally comes together. So those are some of the fun things that I'm working on. It's a never-ending stream of creativity.
You're so amazing to me. So the book that you have currently is Cultivating Compassion. Isn't there another byline to it or a tagline?
Yes. So it's Cultivating Compassion, Simple Everyday Practices.
Yeah.
For discovering peace of mind and resilience.
There we go. But if they type in Cultivating Compassion, they'll come up with this book. Now, I wish I had it sitting here. I don't think I ever got the actual book itself. I have it on my Kindle, which is in the other room, so I can't even show them. But it is a wonderful book filled with these exercises. It's daily, right? There's something daily for you to work through. And I found it really wonderful to go through that process. And if nobody other than me knows you're an actual Virgo. So Amy gets things done. And here we are today, by the way, the full moon, which occurred just as we were going live this morning, is at 0 degrees Virgo and the sun at 0 degrees plus a little bit of Pisces. So this is a great time for you to be revealed, if as it were, doing the work that you're doing.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate the opportunity, Janet, to chat with you, and it's always fun to see you. I just love seeing your smiling face every time we get together via video chat, and every time I watch you.
Thank you. And of course, I love that you are doing this work out there. It's so important. I mean, when we have such a crazy world sometimes, and things happening that knock us off our center, it's wonderful to know that we have tools that can help us bring back to center and restore compassion and self-love and self-acceptance, and that you are out there doing that work. I absolutely love that. Let's see, is there anybody out here that has any questions for Amy? If you do, you can type those into your chat. Vanita just says, yes, yes. I'm thinking that means yes, she wants the book. Yes, she wants to go to your classes. Yes, she wants to go to Peru or Ireland or Angkor Wat or wherever it is that we are going to head to. Patricia Woods, good morning to you. I think, well, I don't see any other comments coming up, but is there anything else that you would want to share with us this morning?
Sure. I'll just end up our conversation by offering a really simple tip that all of you can use. It's that simple Qigong tip. So let's just try it. I invite everyone to drop your gaze, close your eyes, whichever is more comfortable for you. And take some nice deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose, all the way down into the belly. Let your belly relax. And in this process of allowing the belly to relax, you're creating space for the diaphragm to fully expand and contract. And I invite you to inhale for a count of 4 and pause at the top of the breath for the count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4 and pause again for 4. And continue that cycle for yourself. Slow inhalation, pausing, slow exhalation, pausing. And as you breathe into the belly in this slow and full and rhythmic fashion, allow your jaw to relax. Allow the tongue to fall into the floor of your mouth. Allow your neck and shoulders to relax. And then when you're ready, open your eyes, raise your gaze, and come back to this present moment and the exterior world. And that is a really simple tool that you can use anywhere, anytime, just to help you slow yourself down and connect with yourself and be more balanced in day-to-day life.
I love it. That was very centering. Feels good. You can do that when nobody's going to know that you're doing that. There is a question. Vanita says, will you be going to Peru again? As in, maybe she can't make it this April, but maybe next year?
Yes, Vanita, actually I will be. I will be going to Peru in 2020. The itinerary may be a little bit different. We may end up going to explore a couple of other places in Peru, like there's a valley where there's condors. That's absolutely amazing. Go see the condors.
Wow.
Going to see Lake Titicaca and getting out there. There's a community that lives on islands that they've built out of reeds. So it will be a slightly different itinerary. I'll still have Manuel as our guide. But yes, definitely going back to Peru. And then if you join me on that trip and you really want to go to Machu Picchu, you can just, do that as a side trip on the back end for yourself, or I may include it in there as well. Not sure yet.
Yeah. I don't know. If I was going to Peru, I would do it, and then I would go to Machu Picchu. I just don't know how you go to Peru and not go to Machu Picchu.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I also want to. I know that they use alpacas and llamas and things like that. Were they around that you could see? I mean, were they prominent out there? Are there alpaca farms where you could go and pet them or hang out with them?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I mean, they're all over the place in Machu Picchu. And I've got a couple of pretty cute, and I hand felted a bunch of little tiny alpacas to give to all the people that were traveling with me. And I've got this cute little picture of me holding my little felted alpaca up to the nose of another big alpaca. When you're around, you can pet them. And then on that Huachucusco hike, where we went up and over the pass and down the other side, there was a boy sitting on the side of the trail selling a few things, and he had a baby alpaca with him. And so I got to snuggle up with the baby alpaca and pet it. And yes, definitely wherever you go. And the other thing to bear in mind, whether you travel to Peru with me or with someone else, when you see women in beautiful costume with their baby alpaca who are wanting you to take their photos, consider not doing it, because they're doing it as a way to make money, and that baby alpaca doesn't have an opportunity to live with its mama or its family. And so the best choices are to take pictures of alpaca and llamas when they're in natural settings, when they're doing their everyday life, as opposed to being a photographic tool. So just something to bear in mind for the humanity of the well-being of the alpacas.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's important to know because, you know, I grew up in Southern California. So often we were heading across the border to Tijuana in those days before 9/11. You know, it was just a border check and you go across and you're there. And we would see that all the time, children being sort of used as pictures, you know, not being able to just run and play, but moms or dads or whomever, you know, keeping them in their, you know, stalls so that they could be photo ops or going out and trying to get people to buy chicle gum. And it was, you know, it's heartbreaking, but it's a way of life. And, you know, not to support that is one way that you have of making your case, stating, you know, your cause, staying true to you. So thanks for sharing that. All right. I don't see any other questions here. So remember, everybody, you can go to Amy's site, Amy Patty Colvin, to check out the trip to Peru or to check out any of the other trips. Check out her compassionate meditation work and maybe even consider coming to visit our beautiful little island here. March 2nd and 3rd it was, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
For the next meditation weekend retreat that she's doing. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here with me this morning. And thank you, everyone who joined us. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Janet.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.